What's up, people? You're tuned into GameSpeak.
And today we're here to give our thoughts on the Nintendo Switch after having played it for, what was it, just over a week?
Just over a week now.
And what do you think of it, Igbo?
Well, I was kind of hoping that you'd bring it over to my house
Yeah.
and play it, but I don't think you kept it for long enough, so it must be shit. Look,
Well, you're a clumsy
I-
fucker,
I-
really.
I
That's what it
don't-
is. So we didn't bring it.
I don't like. For me,
I didn't want your chicken and chip hands on it, man.
I don't like Nintendo consoles. I never loved them. I've had them, but never loved them.
Yeah.
Come on,
I've
mate.
got rid of them.
Super
you
Nintendo
even-
is probably the greatest console of
No, I
all
never had
time.
Super Nintendo.
Not just that,
unfortunately.
I bought the Nintendo Switch. I swear you were like messaging me saying, Sid, can you bring it over?
I want to try it out, man, but I trust your judgment when you
Yeah.
gave it away and when you said it was, your thing. I was pretty sure, probably not worth it, innit? Yeah.
I don't think it's worth the price, but I am enjoying the console.
I don't know. Well, from what I've heard, yeah, in terms of the
It's-
interface, in terms of
Okay, yeah.
it's,
So
it's broken,
it's,
mate.
it's got issues. Yeah, clearly it's got issues. Everyone's been commenting on, the whole fact that the Joy-Cons don't work properly or they don't charge properly.
Well,
Screens getting scratched when they're trying to dock the console.
A lot of people getting like noise coming out of their screen as well. Zelda just crashes, when you're playing a game. A lot of people are also getting issues where they're putting the cartridge in, but the Switch refuses to acknowledge the fact that it's in there.
Yeah. So I mean, here's the problem. If it was any other console, you probably expect one or two things to happen, but it seems like there's so many different things going wrong with it.
Okay,
Yeah.
but at the same time, I think we should. This is what people are saying. I think we should only talk about the issues that we've come across.
Yeah.
And
True, because I think there is one main thing that, although I'm mentioning half of these things, we have got to understand that they are probably in the minority. If this was like a majority situation, then I think there would be a bigger outcry. But that being said, I was one of the people where I had a lot of issues with mine. My Joy-Con controller just kept going out of sync, and it was really annoying. I'd be a lot, I enjoyed Zelda, but it's not exactly my cup of tea, right? But I could understand that it was a good game, and I was really getting into it, and I felt like this could have been a game that could have got me into Zelda, but the Nintendo Switch just cock blocked me there, man. It was just like every time I was playing it, and like I was getting into a battle, it just kept cutting out on me. The controller either kept going out of sync,
and then the game would pause, and then you would have to reconnect.
So what? Your character would just stand
Well,
there.
no,
getting beaten
no,
up?
the
It
game-
wasn't. It
the
wouldn't
game-
even pause. No, mine would actually carry on.
Oh.
Yeah?
Yeah. The worst thing is, it would take a little bit of time for the controller to realize it's out of sync,
Right.
and my character would be in a battle with someone, and I'm getting beaten up, and then after I'm dead, the game over sign comes up, and then
it
the kick in the
realises.
nuts, it comes up with the out of sync thing. It wouldn't be such a big issue if it kept coming out of sync and pausing the game.
Yeah.
But like Zelda's quite a tough game, like you get one or two hits and that's it. You're
Yeah,
dead.
this new Zelda is
Yeah.
is really tough. Yeah, I mean it's happened to me as well. When you come across the towers,
Yeah.
they're quite tall. It takes a while to climb, and obviously you got the stamina bar. You got to stop at certain points and then start climbing again. And my controller just decided to, I don't know, some voodoo shit happened to it, and Link jumped off, which meant I have to do this. I have to climb up the tower again.
Yeah.
Which is it's quite frustrating.
See, one of the days when I came back from work, I had a really long day, and I just had about an hour before I could go to bed, and the whole time, all it was it just kept going out of sync for me. It kept dying, going out of sync, kept dying, and before I knew it, I wasted a whole hour and I had progressed by 0%. After that, on the other days when I had a little bit of time, I was just too scared to turn the Switch back on because I was, my time's too valuable to risk another hour of being wasted.
Saying that the Switch does work really well
Yeah.
when it's in handheld mode.
See,
There's no latency. There's no issues with.
Yeah, but then another issue I had with that was when I'd be clicking in the right controller, it never used to click in properly. It was always a bit loose when I'm holding it. So whenever I was playing in handheld mode, like one side's really like fit properly, and the other side was really loose.
Right.
And I just felt like that was a bit off-putting when I was playing the game as well.
That's clearly a design fault on
Yeah.
Nintendo's half. Yeah.
Did you guys try like they did in the advert, taking it outside in a bus stop, Obviously you probably won't do that where you guys live in it. Probably get jacked in it.
Yeah, I played it. It's gonna play the same, you know.
Well,
But the moment you take it off the dock, it's switched to handheld. So I had a power cut yesterday. You know, a fuse was blown, and my TV switched off immediately. The game switched to handheld mode, even though it was docked. But because the dock's got no power, it switched straight to handheld mode. It is seamless.
Another thing I found out whenever when I took it outside, the screen always feels a lot smaller when you're outside.
Yeah.
It's crazy how when you're at home, you know, like it feels like, you know, it's the right size and everything.
Yeah.
But the moment you take it outside and you've got other people around it,
See, yeah, I agree with that. I don't think it's, you know, it's good as a handheld, but you know how they showed it in the adverts, to, you know, two people side by side, playing, you know, Street Fighter.
yeah,
I don't think you can do that. The screen is
Yeah.
too small for that.
yeah. That being said, though, you do love the Switch, don't you?
I think it's a good console. I think it's got a lot of potential, but I think the console was rushed out just to meet the you know, the Zelda release date.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing, isn't it? Where if you are like me and you don't want to play Zelda, you know, what else is there?
Yeah, it's probably the worst launch, you know, titles ever.
Yeah, because I mean, I bought 1-2 Switch, and you guys can hear my rant on the 1-2 Switch on another video, and
There are no games for it. It's just there's literally just Zelda, and I find the game's overpriced.
really overpriced. They have got a reasoning for that though. They say that something along the lines of the cards themselves cost more than Blu-rays, and that annoyed the hell out of me because I think that's one of another
See,
things where. Go on.
Sorry, I was gonna say back in the days, I don't understand. You know, like the cartridges, how they cost £10 more than
Yeah,
a CD.
yeah,
You know, there is actually quite a big price difference between a CD and a proper cartridge. You know, an N64 cartridge. But come on, these are just normal SD cards.
yeah.
It's just
yeah.
a different
Yeah.
size.
There's also the fact that they said that because the cartridges cost quite a bit, the online store prices are high just so that they match the prices in store because they don't want to stop people from buying stuff from the store, which I think is a lot of BS because if it's cheaper to send and give to the consumer on the store, why not give it to them cheaper? Why are you trying to, be helpful to Game or any of the other shops? I'm sorry, but I don't think Nintendo really care about them. I think it's more of an excuse just to keep the prices high.
Yeah, it's a load of bollocks. Come on, there's no production cost. There's no distribution cost.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
in
just
terms of-
servers. I think that they have to pay for. Isn't
That's
it?
all
Yeah.
it is. Yeah, just.
Yeah.
But what do you think of the console overall? Do you think it's got potential?
I
Give
think
it away, mate.
what?
You gave it away.
Yeah,
I-
I understand why he gave it
Yeah.
away because there are no games for it.
Well, if he had
And
potential,
there
we
are-
kept it, man.
No,
This is local.
Yeah, but
this is
at
the-
the same time, the price will probably drop by the time there's games for it.
He's never gonna buy it again, man.
I think. Well, there's a possibility because I said the same thing with the PS Vita. I got rid of it for a very similar reason, where there weren't enough games in it and this and that. But I think with the Switch, obviously, there was the no games thing for me, and it felt cheap. It felt like, like I said, when the controller was a bit loose and all that kind of stuff. It just gave me the overall feeling of the console being too cheaply made.
Oh,
Right now, hopefully, if it's a successful console, right, then they'll probably come out with different updated versions, possibly a bigger screen, maybe bigger Joy-Con controllers for people like me. And if they do, then I don't see no reason why I wouldn't buy it again because there's no harm in having more games and more. Like, why cut yourself off from particular games? If they've got the new Mario Odyssey out and it's a really good game, why would I not want to play that?
What sort of games would entice you back?
Something like Star Fox or Mario Odyssey.
Has to be Nintendo IPs, right? Or original games that are only on the on the Nintendo Switch.
It doesn't necessarily have to be because, like, for example, with I said in the earlier the first Switch episode that we did as well that I was really interested in playing Rhyme on the Nintendo Switch. Now, again, another issue I heard on this one that was like a no for me sort of
It's
thing.
going to cost you more.
It's going to cost you more, yeah. And I just don't see the point on why I'm going to pay more when I've got both consoles. I mean,
I don't think it can carry on like that. I think it has to drop.
yeah, and hopefully if it does, then then again I'll be enticed. But the way it's going, I'm not going to be one of your Nintendo chumps that's willing to pay an arm and a leg for everything. Anyways, let us know what you think about the Nintendo Switch, whether you agree with us, whether you disagree with us, and whatever you do, click like and subscribe.